Alright, we're ready to start laying on a little dye. Got a piece of a t-shirt here. I'm going to wet this down, not saturating it. I've learned a few things with this EcoFlow dye too that will be helpful along here that I'll try to mention. One is, it will stain your fingers for quite some time. So I'm going to put on a glove. I should put on two because I got to go to work today, but they're kind of used to seeing me with dye on my fingers. Go figure. So I've got that wet down or dampened. I'll take another piece of t-shirt here. My dye. I'm going to trying to get some on my rag here. On the inside I do put it on a little, I guess you'd say thick. Not super thick, of course, because I like to get the inside done in one coat. Being the thickness of this leather, I don't want it to be wet any longer than it has to be. Now with the all-in-one, you know, I'm going in a circular motion here, and it helps these fibers to lay down. I use the EcoFlow a lot inside holsters and stuff. Let that dry a bit. I'll do the front part, or the back part, excuse me. I'm just getting this damp. I'm not soaking it or anything. But the EcoFlow dye seems to get the fibers to lay down on the inside, which is pretty much what I use the tan coat for. And doing the dye and sealer all in one is kind of cool. A little much on there this time. More up on the top here. I see it's a little thin. And after it starts drying out, you can kind of see that, where it's a little thin. Alright. Right now, It's just a matter of allowing it to dry. And that's going to take a couple of hours. So, there you go. That's where we're at right now. We will be back soon enough. Hey guys, I'm back with the card holder. I went ahead and I dyed the inside. The sun. You gotta love the sun. Go here where the sun is. I did go ahead and dye the inside and the outside. I didn't think you all needed to see the pain of dyeing leather. After I did the inside, do the same exact thing on the outside, and after it dries, you just buff it off. And it doesn't look perfect, but by gosh, it doesn't look bad either. And the EcoFlow dye seems to keep the leather nice and soft, which is something that I like. The other dyes that I use, and I haven't tried the Fiebing's oil dye, or Fiebing's oil dye, but it's on my list. The next time I buy dye, I'll be getting some oil dye. And see how that does, because this other alcohol dye, once it soaks in, the alcohol dries off it really fast, and it seems to stiffen up the leather. And this seems to keep it pretty pliable. I did do this with the oil tan, and it's really soft as well. Or with the alcohol dye, and it's really soft, and I don't know what I did different. But what the heck, you know, I'm not gonna I ain't gonna complain at this point. We're just gonna deal with it. So I've got these two pieces. I'm gonna go ahead and mark a line. At the top of this, remember we made it there, made a slant to it, so I'm going to put a mark right here so I don't wind up trying to run glue all the way up here. The other side will just go up all the way. And I just want to glue a little bit all the way around. I'm going to take my awl and I'm just going to scratch it a little bit. Just to give it a little bit better tooth after I applied the dye. The sun's moving. Just like that around the edges. I'll do the same on this piece. Grab our glue. And we're only trying to go about 1/8 of an inch. I don't need to put a ton of glue on here. Our stitching is what's going to be holding it together, so the glue is just to hold it together while we punch all our holes and stuff. Now remember, we don't want to go, the sun, I love it. We don't want to go past our mark here with our glue, so be careful of that. I'm staying about 1/8 of an inch away from that mark. Give it a few minutes and we'll put both pieces together. Alright, we're dried up enough. I'm going to go ahead and put the two together. Whenever you're doing this, remember, you get, with this contact cement, you get one shot. So be careful. Take it slow. I like to start in one corner. And just run my way down. Now, it always seems like, even though I made a pattern, the pattern was a nice pattern, it always seems like you don't quite get everything. Get my hand out of there. You don't quite ever get everything trimmed perfect. So once it's glued together, I'm going to take my hammer, my mallet, my cobbler's hammer, because I want a good solid hit, and I don't have one of those plastic hammers, so. And that's all that takes. I'm going to let this set up for probably a good 20 minutes, and then we'll trim it just to get the extra off, because there's always just that hair there. And then we'll round off the corners and continue on. So I'll be back in a minute.